Европа Плюс.
Года 3-4 назад вы были у нас в гостях на Европе Плюс, крупнейшая радиостанция в мире и радиостанция №1 в России.
I agree with everything.
Чтобы было легче вспомнить, как это было, вот мы принесли фотографии.
Well, that's nice.
It's you? It's me?
All right.
Меня не было еще, нет, меня не
And
было.
that's Salma Hayek. You know, I think it was for Puss in Boots?
Yes.
Yeah. You know that we made a record at that time. We did in 9 days of working in 9 different countries. We did 769 interviews. 769 interviews. They gave us a kind of a diploma, a title, you know, from Paramount Pictures, because it's the couple that did more, you know, interviews ever in the history of the studio. There was a moment, because we did the interviews always pair. She was always with me. We never did individual interviews. It was both of us at the same time. And I can remember knowing exactly what she was going to say to certain questions. So I can mouth them. She can be talking and I can be exactly, you know, in a looping, like an ADR session in a movie. It was incredible, very tiring. We went from Brazil, Argentina, Mexico, Germany, England, Italy, Russia, Sydney, Australia, Spain. It was crazy. Yeah.
Круто.
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 Very, very круто.
Давайте вернемся к вашей цели визита. Это новый парфюм Queen of Seduction и еще 2 других. Этот парфюм подходит любой девушке, любой женщине, или она должна быть настоящей королевой?
Every woman should be a queen. You should be a queen. Yeah, we are just bringing back monarchy with this perfume to everybody, you know. And it's the work of 20 years. 20 years working with the brand, with Puig, which is an Spanish company now. I think it's the 4th or the 3rd in the world, and they do perfumes for people very important like Jean-Paul Gaultier, Paco Rabanne, Carolina Herrera, Benetton, Nina Ricci. And I'm very happy working with this company, but the important thing is that I don't put only my image and my name in it. I work very hard with them, designing the perfumes, working all around the world, visiting a lot of countries for these 20 years to create something that actually I feel part of it, that actually I'm now extending to other side. You know, as you probably know, I am just attending university in London. I am going to Central St. Martin, which is probably the best university for fashion designing. I launched my first you know, line of clothing. This is mine. This polo shirt that I am wearing this morning. I have watches too, glasses. So it's a bigger project that I am working very hard to make it real. And I am doing that at my age, which is 56 years old, because I think it makes me feel young again, initiating a new process and a new stuff, you know. But what I am telling you all of that when the question was so specific, I don't know. So you know more about me. But yes, every woman should be, I don't know if a queen, but independent and free in the world that we're living today. To be a woman is not an easy thing, unfortunately, you know. I believe in a world actually ruled by women. For one reason, we are living in a very confusing and violent world. Everybody knows that. But women have some particularity different than men. And it's the fact that they are mothers. And so the value of life, when you create life inside of your body, is a very specific one. And there is something about the feminine sensitivity with the world that probably men lost a long time ago, or probably never had. So I do believe not only to be queen, but to be rulers. Maybe the world will be a better world. And sorry about you too, guys.
А можно мне попробовать духи, собственно? Да.
You can.
Бай-бай. Ну, вы пока говорите тут.
Не считаете ли вы...
Can I just make you a question now?
Yeah.
Okay. So, how do you feel about the perfume?
We need to wait a little bit,
Okay.
and I will tell
Take
you.
your time.
Okay. Speak.
Вопрос, question. Не считаете ли вы, что
Свеженький.
аромат для девушки это очень личная вещь, чтобы делать выбор аромата за нее и брать и дарить ей это?
Let's see. Behind me, there is a huge team of people. I am not a chemic. I don't know how to actually manufacture a perfume. There is a number of things, considering, a perfume behind, which are very conceptual and very abstract. It's very difficult for me to actually describe them. I had meetings with the guys who are going to design the perfume. And what they try to do is just conceptualize my persona, not only for what I am personally, for the work that I have done as an actor, for the perception that people may have about me. And they try just to put that in a bottle, which is very abstract. It's kind of an artistic work, how they do it. And then when we do perfumes for men, it's quite easier because they just try to produce a perception of yourself and try to transport it to a man. For a woman, what is the abstraction of this character, actor, director, producer, singer, whatever I am, the many things that I am, and put it in a bottle and just give it to a woman, and she can feel a little bit, probably a little bit of Spain, a little bit of the smell of the ocean, because I was born in a littoral city, and also the azar, the orange tree blossoming in the springtime, even a little bit of incense, because the festivities in the springtime in Spain are very linked to the Holy Week, Eastern time. So there is a number of things that are part of my surrounding, not only just me, but where I am from, where I'm coming, so it's the Mediterranean Ocean, the Mediterranean culture, a number of things, and they're trying to put that in a bottle. It's very abstract, but very interesting world when you get into it, even though I am not the one who does the perfume.
Мне нравится аромат, и мне кажется, на самом деле, что аромат...
But do you see now her in a completely different way after she just put the thing on?
Видишь, меня в другом виде каком-то.
Да. Вы можете идти с
Да. Не, мне нравится очень аромат, мне кажется, что он очень подходит для русских женщин, таких сильных, независимых, потому что он такой неприторно-сладкий, очень свежий и интересный аромат. И у меня вопрос про Россию. Вы тут не первый раз уже, далеко не в первый раз. Можете в 3 словах описать нашу страну?
It's difficult because it's still very mysterious in a way. If I have to describe Russia, I have to really go to the prominent people that made Russia being seen in the world, from Dostoevsky to Tolstoy, all the big, directors, cinema director, actors, strong culture, serious, strong, imperial, powerful, with tremendous personality that contrasts very much with other countries that I know, It's a country that inspires an immediate sense of respect. You have to see Russia with respect. It's the first word. I am improvising, but it's the first word that comes to my mind.
Вы много рассказывали о работах не только в кино, что вы дизайнер одежды, теперь дизайнер парфюмов, актер, вы талантливый человек, занимаетесь много благотворительностью. Скажите, тяжело ли быть Антонио Бандерасом?
It's tiring. I move a lot. I did a new apartment in Malaga that I bought very recently. And it's a kind of an homage to my hometown, I am very attached to my hometown, even if I have been out of it for a long time, you know, and I go there just to visit my family and stuff like that. But there is a Spanish poet. He's a guy now with 90 years old. He's called Manuel Alcántara, and he's a dear friend of mine. And I wrote in a wall in my house a poem that a little excerpt from a poem that he wrote, and said, I don't know if I can explain it in English, but I'll try. It says, at the shade of a boat, I want to lay down one day and throw everything that happened to me on my back and dream about happiness. That is something that I want to do, but I can't. I try, you know, just to say, okay, I have to stop and just, you know, take a look back and say, oh my God, and so many things, so many people, so many souls, so many countries, so many, you know, encounters and events that happen in my life. I want to think about them. I want to just, but I can't, because if I stop for a month, or I stop for 2 months, I start getting a little bit frantic, hectic. My mind cannot stop having ideas about doing things, and I want to direct. I am writing a lot lately, so I want to direct my own stories, because the 2 times that I directed before, they were based on novels, and so the story is not completely mine. I want to tell how I see the world of my time, the time in which I am living, and I just express it through my turf, which is cinema and theater, and that's what I would like to do. But I cannot. It seems that I cannot stop, you know, reorganizing myself and doing things. I am a very active person. Yeah, definitely. So it's difficult. I don't know. For me, it's natural, but probably if you put somebody on my shoes, they will say, "Oh my God, this guy is crazy." I would like to stop a little bit and do things that are not so frantic all the time.
Ну вот смотрите, столько есть вещей, которыми вы занимаетесь, может быть, мы вас увидим в какой-то новой ипостаси или, например, какой-то альтернативной реальности, кем бы вы были. Что-то вот другая какая-то грань Антонио Бандераса.
I don't know. Sometimes did you know those people that said, you know, now doctors they're thinking the possibility of people living 120 years is in a natural way. Probably in 100 years from now, people are going to be able to live 500 years. And I have a friend of mine says, I don't want to live 500 years. Why? No, it's just too long. You know, I will say, I want to live 1,000 or 2,000 years. I would like to start studying piano when I was 245 years old and be a great pianist by the time that I am 270. You know, and then I would like to just do all the things, you know. I would like to death is the only certainty we have. That's the only certainty. Even taxes can be just manipulated, but death comes like an axe in your life, and it's just that the only certainty. Everything else is relative. You know, so that bothers me a lot. I have to recognize, you know, the perspective of dying is just annoying. It's not so much dramatic and dark, it's just annoying because there are so many things. I guess by saying this, I am telling you that I love life, you know, and with all its complications and the good and the bad moments, but I am passionate about life itself. And at 56 years old, I think I still didn't kill the little boy that I have inside. You know, I didn't kill that kid that I was. I'm still curious to discover things, and I am always curious to see what is around in that corner, what I'm gonna find. You know, who is gonna look at me, that is gonna enlighten my day.
Какие ошибки вам приходится прощать больше, свои или ошибки тех, кто вас окружает?
Your own mistakes, to forgive, but at the same time there has to be an acceptance of your own mistakes and be positive about them. You know, I know that this is something that sounds a little bit, you know, corny, if you will, but it's true. You have to learn when you make a mistake and you are conscious of it. Because sometimes you make mistakes and you say, no, it's the rest of the world who fail, you know, and you're conscious of it. You have to have the capacity to analyze what really happened. and why you went that path instead of this the other one, and learn from that and say, well, this has to be, I have to transform this in something positive for me. Otherwise, you know, you get into a state of depression that actually doesn't help at all, you know. And I think I am a positive person. So, but definitely your own mistakes hurt more. Definitely.
Антонио, вы очень позитивный, жизнерадостный человек. Что может вам испортить настроение?
Well, don't feel full physically. And especially if I was the guilty for that, for not feeling good. Don't go to bed at the right time, eating non-properly, and then you go to interviews or things that you have to do. You have to be your all full 100%, and you are only at 60% because you made mistakes. And so I try to be physically good. If I am physically good, practically nothing can spoil my mood. But basically, in an everyday life, watching the news sometimes can be very spoiling of your day, especially when you see the situation of injustice in which millions of people live in today's world.
Так как музыкальная радиостанция, нам интересно, какую музыку слушаете вы и какой последний трек вы зашазамили, возможно, или поинтересовались, что это за песня?
Well, I listen a lot of music from different kind. And when I use my computer, I can jump from opera to pop, going through jazz. There is a number of music that I love. But there is a song that I have been listening lately because it's a very positive song, I think, though it's called Blood. And it's sung by a group called the Middle East that I love. I have to confess something too. I've been listening to a track of myself because I sang a song with Barbara Streisand not such a long time ago, and it's now out. You can buy it on iTunes, I think, and it's called "Take Me to the World," and it's a song composed by Stephen Sondheim, which is one of my favorite composers for Broadway musicals. And it's a complicated song, though very classic, show tune, and it was great to have the possibility of singing with such an icon of American pop culture like Barbara, and so I have been listening to that too. I'm sorry, I confess. This is my 4th visit in Russia. I send a salute to all the Europe, music station, and so I just send a lot of kisses to all of them, and I'll see you in the movies.